Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Stand Up Tech. This episode is going to be a little bit different. It's a little more serious and it's not as comedic as most of my episodes, relatively try to be. Yes, hello Walter. So I'm going to try to make this short, but for those watching this video, I really do appreciate it because this is actually for you. I'm not saying that what happened to me is because of you or for you. This is just one of the situations where I want to know more about what happened, and I would like to know what your thoughts are on it. And I know that YouTubers like Andrew from Taylors of Tech, I would honestly like to know your opinion on this. So if you're watching this video, I would appreciate you kind of talking about this because I know you're an Apple sheep as well. We're both very, very Apple enthusiasts, and we know when there's a mistake and we know when they've done something amazing. Now, keep in mind, if you could please watch to the end of the video before typing anything in the comment section. And then I also want you to know that this is not about, So what this video is about, it's how I got my iPhone XS Max. And I'm not saying this is some success story because it really isn't. And I know that because I have the iPhone XS Max that, maybe I shouldn't worry about this, but if it's happened to you, that's where there's a problem or where this story gets more interesting. Or maybe it's just me and I'm crazy. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So again, welcome back to another episode of Stand Up Tech. I said on my last unboxing video that I was going to be talking about how I got the iPhone XS Max. It is an interesting experience because this isn't a normal, I bought my phone and I got it. So let's start from the beginning. So it was on September 14th when I pre-ordered the iPhone XS Max from the Apple Store application. So I went ahead and pre-ordered the iPhone XS Max and I selected it for pickup at the closest Apple Store to my house. It's about like a few miles away. So I went ahead and clicked in-store pickup and I selected a time that I wanted to pick it up, which it was between 10:30 and 11 because you have like a 30-minute window that you select when you pick up your phone and then you get in a line and you pick it up. I know this because this was my first pickup, so I kind of remember everything that happened, so that's why I know about this, but I'm just explaining it to those, not only after the fact, but to those who don't know, so you get the whole story. So after I selected that option, I was like, okay, great, everything was all set up, but it went to an interesting route. So I'm on the Apple upgrade program, which means I get to upgrade my phone every single year after paying for my phone for 12 months, and then I just get the next phone. Walter, what are you doing? You're a kitty cat. So anyway, before I was distracted, okay, this is where it got weird. So it was 2 days after the pre-order. It was Sunday. The 14th was it was either Thursday or Friday, but it was Sunday. So for those who are not on the Apple upgrade program, or those who are, you can, zone out for about 30 seconds. So the Apple upgrade program, you get to upgrade your iPhone every 12 months. You pay for the phone every month, so it's a monthly payment. There's no interest, so you're not spending a lot of money, and you get Apple Care on top of that. So I went ahead and upgraded my phone. How it normally works is you pay for not half of it, but like there's a good amount that gets paid to the Apple Store, and then there's an amount that gets paid to Citizens One. Citizens One is not exactly a third party, but they kind of are. It's just the loan company that you go through for the Apple upgrade program. So you're going through them to upgrade your phone and to pay for it every month, and it's a loan. But you're not really loaning. You're not getting like anything loaned to you. So on Sunday, I got a charge to my credit card because you can only have a credit card, you can't have it on a debit card. So I got a charge on my credit card, and it said it was from Apple iTunes. Now, what I thought was all of my transactions, and I was pretty convinced at the time that all of my transactions go through Apple iTunes, that it never signifies Apple Store or Apple iTunes, but I actually ended up being wrong, which I found out later on. But so it went through Apple iTunes, and it was $156.96, or it might have been $152, but it was charged to my credit card, and it said Apple iTunes. Here's where it gets weird. So I'm probably gonna say that about 5 times in this video because it gets weirder and weirder. So my immediate thought was I didn't buy anything from Apple iTunes. So I tried to find any information on this payment, anything I could find. I couldn't find a single thing. No receipts, no emails, no confirmations on payment, nothing. So I went ahead and contacted Apple support through their ordering system. They couldn't find any information on it. So they said, well, this sounds like an iTunes issue, so go ahead and talk to Apple iTunes. But you might want to talk to your card company first. So I talked to my card company, which is the second company I contacted, and they went ahead and locked my card. They said they couldn't find anything on this payment, and that we'll go ahead and lock the card and we'll send you a refund for that payment once you get your new card in. And then right after that, because I was really worried about my pre-order, because now my credit card was locked and nothing from the payment has gone down or anything like that. So there wasn't any information on did I pay for my phone or not, because that was the big thing. Was this for my phone? And if it is, why does it say iTunes? So I talked to Apple Store support next instead of Apple order support. I talked to Apple Store support. They couldn't find any receipts, confirmations, or anything relating to the payment. So they transferred me over to the Apple iTunes support, which took about 10 minutes for the wait time to get talk to somebody. So I talked to Apple iTunes support. They couldn't find any information on it. They couldn't find a linked Apple ID. They couldn't find a payment confirmation. They couldn't find what was bought. No information whatsoever on it. The only thing that all three Apple support contacts could do, so Apple order support, Apple Store support, and Apple iTunes support, the only thing they could find was the payment for my phone case, which was like $42. They had that on there. And then they had my phone payment amount, which was like $228. That's all that they had. They had nothing else. And the first, like, this is how it was last year. I paid for the last amount of my iPhone 7 Plus, which was like $112 was left because I had like 2-3 months left. I paid that off, and then I paid the taxes plus the first month for that phone, like as soon as I got my phone. That's how the payment was. But this payment what actually adds up to the taxes of the phone and the last payment of my iPhone 10. So it was not only different, but if that was the case, wouldn't they have some sort of confirmation or some sort of, hey, that's what this was for in their account? They had no information on it. So I was pretty concerned about picking up my iPhone, and I know, you gotta worry about your money first, but at the same time, it was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get charged extra for my phone, or like what's gonna happen, or what the situation is. So I was pretty paranoid because this payment was just so weird, and getting my card locked on something that cannot be traced. I'm getting a refund for it, but I have no idea what it is, so I don't know if it's gonna happen again. And again, the story is about to get weirder. I said I would say this about 5 times in this video, and I'm not kidding. So the next part of where it gets weird, so I've already talked to Apple Store support, and then I talked to my credit card company, and then I talked to Apple Store support, and then I talked to Apple iTunes support. They could not find any receipts, any information, or anything on the payment of what it was, or what it's for, or who bought it. Of course, my card was used, but none of my information was on it. The only actual evidence that this was a charged payment was on my credit card bill. None of it was on Apple's sites. None of it was on Apple's ordering system or anything. So there's no trace of that payment with Apple at all. None of it. It's non-existent. So I spoke with Citizens One after that, after I talked back with Apple Store support, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to pick up my phone because my card was locked and because of the situation at hand. The Apple Store support said you should be fine, but you should talk to Citizens One first to kind of confirm that. Now I'm going to kind of speed it up a little bit so it can get weirder. So I was going to contact Citizens One, which is what the Apple Store support recommended. For the Apple Store support, that's what they recommended. Then I get a phone call. Things are about to get weirder. I said I would say it about 5 times, and I wasn't kidding. I get a phone call, and this is already after I talked to Apple Store support. I gave them my order number, I told them my information, because they had to verify. They don't just flat out say it. But I get a phone call and a voicemail from a phone number. I'm not sure what it was. And I have an application that is connected to my phone that tells me if it's a spam, and it said this phone number was a spam, and it says Apple. And I thought that must be a mistake, because I've gotten phone calls from Apple before, several phone calls, and they've never been for like a spam. Like it never would say spam. So in this voicemail, it was like a minute 30-second voicemail. Literally, in this voicemail, just to sum it up, they talked about my concerns that I had for the order. They said flat out what my order number was. They said that my payment was processing, and they said that it was for the last payment of the iPhone 10 plus the taxes for it. So this voicemail puts in my order number from my phone. It put in what was paid for in that 156, which Apple could not find any evidence or connections to. And they said that the person helping me, they said like a weird name that was almost what I was contacted through, because I remember the Apple Store support team members that I was talking to, but I won't disclose their names on this video, because I mean, despite knowing their first name, I still would rather not say their names. So I talked to Apple Store support immediately after I got that voicemail. I never called back. And they said that, yes, quoting, yes, there is a payment on your account processing for $152.96. It might have been $156, sorry, but getting there. For $152.96 for your phone. with the last payment of your iPhone 10 plus the taxes for the new one. And we do not disclose that information especially in a voicemail, without verifying you first. So that is a spam. We will never do that, so that is a spam. End quote. So you mean to tell me there was information on that payment, and it did exist, so technically 4 people lied to it? Lied about it? What? So you can see why this is weird, right? So I talked to so many Apple order support members, and none of them could find any information on it. And I talked to Apple iTunes support and Apple Store support on top of that, and they could find no information on it. And my own credit card company could not find any information on it. And you mean to tell me that there was information on it? That doesn't make any sense. So the payment was actually legitimate, but it came up under iTunes, and nobody could find any information on it until my card was already locked, and I got a weird ass voicemail. So you can see why this is weird. So the next part of that isn't that weird, because I was sort of just completely confused and I didn't know what was going on, so I was freaking out, and I was about to make this video, but I thought maybe I should wait till after I get my phone. So the next part isn't that weird. So the payment for my phone, of course my card was locked, so they couldn't process it through, but I was still able to pick up my phone. I still had my unboxing video, and that's all fine and dandy. But how do I know that this situation is not only not going to happen again, but an explanation to what the hell happened? But you understand why this is weird, right? And I really want to hear what you guys think about it and what your thoughts are, because that's just weird. That not only did the payment process change, but there was no evidence or information or anything on it after the fact, or even before the fact. None of it. No information. Other than a spam voicemail and an Apple Store support order number associate responds saying that it exists. This has been a very interesting episode of Stand Up Tech. Again, I would like to know what you guys think, but isn't this weird? I can't even explain to you what my thoughts are on it, because I just don't know, because there's just so many conflicts. So let me know what you guys think in the bottom section below. I won't ask anybody to like or dislike this video, because, that's awesome and all, but really what this video is going to benefit for me is to hear from you guys, the viewers, what you think happened. And again, Andrew from Teleso Tech, we are Apple sheep. We know pretty much everything is to know about Apple. And I think that you are the person that would know, or at least relatively know, what I should do. I'm not saying that, you're an Apple god or anything. I'm not saying that there's no other Apple people out there. But I know that you are really good at defending Apple, but you're also good at seeing situations differently than I do. And I think that your point of view would not only be helpful for me, but I think that is something that other people would appreciate, so that this situation either doesn't happen or is explained next time. Apple, if you're watching this video, tell me what happened. I would love to understand what I went through, and why everything happened the way it did. There's no justification of, oh, I'm sorry. The only way that this could get resolved is if there's an explanation. So I would like to thank you all for watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.